Hello everybody, this is ZigZagZog coming to you from somewhere in this world. We're back to continue our playthrough of Empire Total War featuring Darthmod and a 40 unit save version. And we're playing pick the flag, quick. Now we're playing as Poland-LITHUANIan Commonwealth. And we have the pleasure of having the Prussian capital of Berlin, in fact their final territory I believe, sieged. And we're going to go ahead and do that battle now. They have reinforcements out here that are out of range. They have reinforcements that have retreated from the last episode's battle out of range. So we don't have to worry about reinforcements. And guess what? We do have reinforcements in the area. So let's get this thing going. And see if we can knock the mighty Prussians out of this war and this battle and this playthrough. I would have never thought that we'd get rid of them and dispatch them this early, but we are. So I'm kind of excited about that. So we'll see you down on the battlefield. Okay, this is the setup. It's a nice snowy day. We're right outside of a small village over here. I'm definitely going to adjust my cannon placement. Okay, it's a light gray setup, so they're mostly on this side of the city. So I'm obviously going to relocate my artillery units so that I have better coverage and I am not blocked by any buildings here to get over to the area. So we will be right back once I get things set up here. Okay, here is the setup. We've moved our artillery, relocated them to the side of the city here so we have better sight and better coverage of their potential deployment zone. I do not mind. This time I do have my two artillery units right next to each other, but you'll notice this hill will prevent anybody that might go against this from running up the hill and getting to my artillery up the hill, and vice versa. So essentially they are split, and I don't have to worry about losing all my artillery at once unless they manage to coordinate two separate charges that are successful. Anyway, on this wing we have two regiments backed by two regiments. We have two regiments of horse to swing out, and then we got our grenadiers are what we have behind and guarding. In fact, I moved my other grenadier that I had here, unfortunately, without thinking. They're the ones that are going to stay here. There we go. Now we got it. We got our reserves. Now we got our grenadiers guarding both our artillery pieces just in case they get that direct assault. And then the line extends out this way. Some on this side may have to move through a little bit of the town or take a building or whatever. And we got cavalry on this side also to wheedle its way through the town if needed. General front and center. And so let's get this thing going. Let's find out how they're going to set up and see if we can't make this happen. The big thing we got to worry about is they will have mortars. The good thing is there are no walls for this city. And there's their mortar right up front and center. So it'll be able to reach us along with all the rest of their units coming forward. But we're bombarding them right off the bat with success, taking out some members of the garrison already. Down to 21. We've killed 3 with our first barrage. So what do I want to do? I don't know that I necessarily need to look to advance. I'm not worried about a single regiment of mortars just wiping me out. So I'm going to stay put a little bit, just kind of get a sense of how they're going to maneuver. Now obviously they have garrison line infantry, which are not as good as my regular regiments of foot, and we got the militia also. So we're not dealing with the best of the Prussians here, and we're already getting their mortars to waver. So yeah, I'm fine just hanging back just a little bit. In fact, matter of fact, we can get this side of the line reacting or moving a little bit forward, getting ready to move through a city environment, which can be, let's face it, which can be very tricky. So we're going to move some of these forces up that we probably won't need right away. In fact, what unit do we have over there? Oh, so we have some reinforcements that are coming in. That's what I did not pay attention to. And our reinforcements are in battle with their mortars in the rear. And their garrison line infantry here. I'm actually going to pull this cavalry out because this is one of our generals who has just died a heroic death because I did not pay attention to reinforcements. So we've lost one of our generals. Hopefully it wasn't a highly promoted general. Can we get you off to the side, please? Inauspicious start already. And they are moving forward. They are looking to get around our wing with the militia. So we're going to bring our regiment here in reserve over at a run to kind of blunt that end around that they're looking to pull off. And we are going to reorient our artillery front and center to where we're threatened the most. Like we took a we're getting bombarded over here a little bit, so let's back off our cavalry. That's where their mortars are focusing. And we've drawn off some of their own units, so let's pull back here with our reinforcing, well, no longer alive reinforcing general, but his unit is. And we'll see if we can't draw them into our own units back here. What have they got advancing? Garrison line infantry and firelock infantry, the armed citizenry. In fact, what we'll do, if they're going to move through the city, we don't have a good sense of that yet. We're going to get ready for them just in case they do. We're going to run our line infantry over here. We're going to run our other unit of line infantry over here. And we have some other reserves here that we're going to bring forward right here. Everybody else is being handled and under control right now. We're going to take our cavalry out. We're going to side charge the militia, which should not hold up. One of these is the Lancers, so we'll keep track of them so we can back them off and not let them stay in any kind of melee situation. We'll do a side charge right here with them. We'll bring the Lancers farther back. And we're disrupting their line already. And what have we got over here? We've got some garrison line infantry. That's where we're going to take our charge right here. The militia is holding up amazingly well, mainly because they have the numbers on their side. So let's do a nice charge here, guys. Shake them up a little bit. And we've got them running. So let's back off so we can also then charge out and help our other unit over here against the regiment of militia, which has the superior numbers. Okay, boys, let's face, hurry up, reform, face, so we can do another charge. All right, we're ready. Charge on in. Let's see if we can rattle them this time with our superior Lancer charge. We're going to back off our own units if we can, get them out of the way in time. And the mighty charge has them wavering. So let's back off so we can charge again. They're bringing over some supporting units. Let's bring this cavalry in to continue the melee. And let's come over and see about charging this garrison line infantry. Let's hope we don't get distracted. Charge in over here, guys. Not the most amazing charge. We kind of broke formation a bit at the end, so let's bring these guys out. Try it again. I'm determined to learn the proper charge and the proper charging distance and the proper charging to be the most effective. Ooh. We got a straight charge here, right straight on. Let's see if they get off a round of fire before we get there. Ooh. They did just in time. It wasn't amazing, but look at how our charge gets the enemy to waver. It's amazing. We're going to charge in on the firelock infantry now. In fact, I'm not happy with our choices on our cannon right now. We're going to get them over to the mortars. Not the most effective of charges, so maybe we're starting to run out of gas here. Let's see if we can just keep on going to reform off in the distance. And let's get back to the rest of the battle. The regiment of horse is highly depleted. I think it's time to pull them back for a little R&R so we don't lose them. And time to charge in with our unit over here on the mortars once and for all. We're going to briefly silence the cannon. And we're going to see how this city battle is progressing. We're going to take some of our cavalry around that's getting bombarded right now and see about aiding the attack over here. And soon we won't have to worry about those annoying mortars. They're down to 5 individuals, so enemy general has been killed. That should make life a lot easier elsewhere on the battlefield. We're going to pull our lancers back out. And get moving over here with our other cavalry to help us out. Now we're going to bring them over here and then rear charge on this garrison line infantry. Our generalless general's bodyguard over here. And we're going to bring this unit forward to help out at another angle. And artillery-wise, let's bombard this retreating unit so they hopefully do not reform. regimental horse is out of the way, and we should have what it takes to hold up to these militia and line infantry, garrison line infantry. In fact, I'm going to also swing out this unit to get more firepower. And they're charging. Looks like the militia are charging, so we're going to charge right back. We have our own unit in the center wavering. They've been getting shots at multi-positions. Let's get this reinforcements on the side helping us out. Let's get our cavalry charge over here commenced and break them down in the city. Some fierce city battling. I see only a close victory on this one. It's the way it's feeling. Good thing about having our cavalry in action now is we're going to be able to break through their lines really quick with them kind of spread out as they are, and that ought to help the morale here. And well, we've lost a lot of men over here. And we're going to continue our charge right over to here. Just knock them out. Okay, with that done, we can continue our line facing forward and just look at these individual cavalry units to run these guys down. So they do not reform. We'll allow our line units to maintain their position just because they are exhausted and worn with casualties. We're going to take our lancers and see about running down. Well, actually, we don't have to do so much running down because this is a city battle. Let's run into place so we can face off against our armed citizenry. We have our lancers back here, which have been resting for a while. We're going to bring in on a charge. And for the most part, kind of wrapping things up a little bit here. Let's focus our artillery where it'll help us the most. And our depleted lancers are still going to charge and see if they have it within them. Armed citizenry, they took out a lot of armed citizenry. Let's get the lancers back out. I don't know if you notice their numbers just fall, and now they're continuing to fall. Lancers did their job, and it looks like everybody that I can tell, I don't think I've missed anybody, is in retreat, so I think this battle is essentially over. With that in mind, we're going to have the Lancers, even though they're not great in melee, and their numbers are, they are wiped out. Okay, this is where they have a sticking point. We're going to come help over here. We're going to reorient these two regiments to take this unit out. I'm going to bring this cavalry unit, heavily depleted but rested now, charge over here. But they may fold long before they get there. We're going to keep the cannon shooting in their rear, even though potentially some errant cannonballs could run into our units like that. Okay, let's halt the fire. And we're going to get that final cavalry charge coming in here. As far as I know, this is their last standing unit. They're facing forward for fire and about to get rear charge, which should break them once and for all. There they go. In fact, they broke before the charge even hit. Let's stop fire, guys, and the battle is over. We're going to end it right here. No need to run down on this one. And I don't know how, but we got a heroic victory off of this one. We took a heck of a lot of casualties for this kind of a battle. At least it felt like a heck of a lot of casualties, but overall, not so much. 1,000 men to their 3,000, and we have conquered. We have knocked out the Prussians from this war. Region captured. We now have a port on a different sea, and the nation has been destroyed. That song plays so loud, I always turn it off quick. What we're going to do in the meantime is we're going to continue our pressure on the United Provinces, because after that we're at war with Hanover, who decided to attack Saxony, our protectorate, and they are the next big army standing in our way. And they have a decent looking army, lots of line infantry, almost exclusively line infantry. Yeah, they got a decent armed forces. This army right here is nothing to be trifled with. But if we can manage to knock out Hanover, guess what? It gives us a path to the United Provinces. So that is the next thought, the next idea of what we're going to do. Let's get over here and let's attack this remnant army, see if we can knock it out. We're going to have tons of reinforcements. No, you were supposed to attack. Thank you. Not much left over here. As a matter of fact, we're just going to auto-resolve this one. It is so lopsided. And look at the losses we took with the auto-resolve. Depressing. But we have some traits gained. We have a general that's probably gained another star here. We have a general here that has gained +1 morale in battle and +1 command when leading infantry units. And we have a general here. I should have been watching the name to see if it was the same general or not. +1 to command when attacking on land. So let me take a quick look at our 3 armies here. We have a general here. This is, I would have thought this is the one. Oh, it says it's replenishing and it shows the generals there. So I guess the general fell, but he did not die, because I still have generals in all these armies. So what do you know? What we're going to do, we have funds right now, 11,142. We're going to highlight all the units in our armies and replenish all that we can. Okay, so let's move on to our next army. Choose everybody, and we can afford replenishment there. And let's take the final army, choose everybody, and get replenishment going there. And we have 89 left, but we were able to replenish every single unit in these armies. What that means that we do not have the ability to do is in Berlin, we cannot rebuild some of, in fact, we're going to have to get more armies located in there. I think temporarily what we're going to have to do is just take a bunch of these armies and kind of split the armies up, get more units in here as much as possible. We got room for more. Room for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more units. Yeah, we're going to do that. We got everything we can possibly get into Berlin at the moment. So what we got to do is look at where else we can. We have no money to restore the buildings this turn. We're going to have to look at fixing up these buildings, especially the Imperial Palace and especially the Royal Observatory, first thing next turn to help get that public order back in line. The other thing we're going to do is we're going to tear down the College of Divinity right now, so we can change that to a Catholic school of our choice. We have a new school over here. Let's see if there's anything we can get them working on. Let's see where it is first of all. And it's an upgraded school like some of ours are. Is there anything that is not having any research done currently? So the farming category is not being attended to right now. We're going to fix that. Selective breeding, 18 turns, 12 turns, 12 turns. We're going for the upgraded farm so we can get up to great estates. And that's what's going to go on in Magdeburg. Okay, let me take a look at our lists. We'll take a look at any armies, agents, whatever that I need to look at, anything I might need to adjust right now. In fact, before we even do that, I know one thing I will adjust, just so we take away the risk of revolt. We're going to exempt Berlin temporary. Oh, that doesn't even take away the risk for revolt. So we're going to keep the taxes on because I want the income in this instance. If it's going to revolt or whatever, I think we have 2 turns to get it in order. So let's cross our fingers that we'll be able to get that done. So once again, as I was saying, let me double check my list and we'll be right back. All right, I want to get a peek over here because it's still showing as Russian. So maybe when we get eyes on it, it'll start showing Swedish. I don't know. Let's find out.
Nikt nie będzie niczego podejrzewał.
No, there's a Russian army there, which is why the Swedes are not able to use it. So that's kind of what is adding to the confusion. Other than that, I'm going to keep my rake right there to keep an eye on everything over here. That's a good use of this rake. And then we're going to move the United Provinces rake over actually into the United Provinces since they no longer hold the Rhineland, just so we can keep an eye on exactly what's happening over here. There is an army of a French army over here, nothing significant. Yeah, I don't even think it's strong enough to take over since there are forts here. Nothing strong enough to deal with the United Provinces there. But United Provinces are weak and wiped out because of Spain, France, you name it. They've had a lot of enemies early on, which is not a recipe for success for the United Provinces. Okay, now that I've picked up another port, well, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? We have the ability to do for some more trade opportunities, and I'm just gonna run through and see what we can do. The Mughal Empire, we're never gonna be. Well, the plan is to never be at war with them. So let's open negotiations to get back our trade agreement that we lost with them, and see if they're open to it. Yes, they are. So there's some more income for us, and we still have room in our ports. We'll give it a shot with Spain. I mean, we're both Catholic nations. Maybe even though it says they're unfriendly, perhaps, just perhaps. Let's see, why are they unfriendly with us overall? Alliance with an enemy nation. That's their biggest thing, along with our territorial expansion. But we're going to see if we can open negotiations for a trade agreement, and we have one now with Spain. Is there any room for any more minor nations to gain a trade agreement? Probably not. Yep, we are fully loaded with our trade agreements now. So I think that's going to be it that we can accomplish this turn. We still have now that we've consolidated our war and ended our war against Prussia, it's really time to fix up some of our remaining buildings and infrastructure issues here and there, although we can't sit back too long because we've got Hanover over here that we're at war with, and they are very close to striking against Saxony. So we're going to take our next turn. We'll see you on the other side. Who wants a military? Well, France wants a military alignment. They really, I could care less about that. But 4-field crop rotation for some more money, and I got so much to rebuild. Let's take away the military alliance. Yep, they thought the terms could be better. They didn't go for the trade for our research. Oh well. All right, we have workers on strike in Brandenburg, basically Berlin. The people of the region have down tools and gone on strike, so we're going to see if we can get things repaired over here and quell that. And let's take a look at what else has happened. Trait gained, research points. So obviously we have some completed research over here. We'll take a look at that in a moment. We recruited our second 5th rate. Only our second 5th rate. But hey, our Navy never was going to be a quick build, was it now? And it's not super vital other than having the ability to unblock ports as we go to war with different regions and different factions here. And a lot of growth with our farms. And we completed fire by rank, so that is amazing for our land battles. I venture to say we're probably the first ones to get there. So we'll take a look at that. And we finished Division of Labor, which I believe will help us upgrade our ports now also. So we got a lot to spend on. We're at 17,231, and I guarantee you we're going to spend it right now. Let's take a look at our research and just make sure. I don't know that that's the next place I want to go after fire by rank. What will this one do? Cadenced marching improves our campaign speed. Or we can get up to our military academy by focusing on that. So we're going to do the socket bayonet to try and get to our next level here instead of the wedge formation right now. And then the other things that our naval board should be finished soon, I hope. Let's check in Austria where we were upgrading that and find out how much time we have left. 1 turn, so good. Next turn we will have more research available in the naval area, so I'm not worried about that. What have we got over here? We're fine there. And do we have? Yes, and that's what I want next to upgrade to the next level of schools. So there we go. First things first, let's get Berlin under control. And let's take a look at what it looks like right now. Not so good. So we're going to repair that building to help public order. We're going to repair that building to help public order right away. We are going to, here we're going to go with our church school. Replace their church school with our version of the church school. What happened mid-turn, by the way, what I noticed is the forces of Saxony, Hanover's turn came first and they did not move. So Saxony decided, let's take our army over here and see if we can't take over Hanover. Well, I wish they would have conferred with us first, because I don't know that I can make it over there in time. Well, do we have to, or do we play aggressive like that? What do you think? Do we take our armies? Can this second following army get there in time? Maybe as a reinforcing army. See if we can knock out Hanover that way and avoid this major army of theirs. Let's see what their forces in here look like. Overall, they're strong, except they'll also have garrison units. So this may be the time to attack. We will be reinforced by Saxony. And if we're successful, the problem is this army, I had to reinforce Berlin, so that's not really enough to attack with. So I've got to hold off one more turn before I can get moving for sure. So unfortunately, Saxony did not confer with me. The only thing they'll accomplish is hopefully weakening down the army of Hanover before we arrive. So we're actually going to hold off, because this army, which might have been big enough to play a part, can't reach. does not have the mobility to get there in time, so we're going to have to hold off. And I'm definitely not taking the army out of Berlin yet because of the public order on taking over a major capital like this. So we kind of got to stand here twiddling our thumbs just a tad. Just a tad. As far as any more, I don't think there's anyone else in this army that we need to upgrade. What I will do is see about naval recruitment up here. So we have a fleet, if you want to call a ship or two a fleet, up in this area of the Baltic Sea and down in the Mediterranean. Now, after that, I'm tired of seeing my cities burn. First thing we're going to do is we're going to tear down the walls. When I take over a city, we don't need walls. I'm sure there's some other ones I haven't addressed yet, but this is our start. We're going to fix the barracks or the drill school. We're going to fix the ordnance factory, and we're going to fix the admiralty. And I'm going to go ahead and just do that now so there's no quote-unquote devastation effects in Berlin after this turn, because we have the funds to afford it. The other thing I'm going to do, we're going to upgrade the roads in Berlin so that mobility to the front or to where we need to go is improved. And now we'll just work on some infrastructure buildings and upgrading where we can. And we got farms that can be improved. That's where we're going to start to enhance our growth. And here's a gold mine that we're going to spend to improve. And that pretty much ends our turn as far as our spending spree that we're going on. Let's just take a look at our rakes. Make sure there's no surprises we have to keep our eye on. I don't know why they're not moving this army over here to free up their port, but they're not. Probably because they have another port here, but that's only a fishery as opposed to this port, which is a shipyard. Well, I guess neither of them are trade ports. So what do you know? The Ottomans have vacated the premises here. More than likely, I'm going to guess they're back down to the port. Yes, and there they are. And finally, we have our rake up in the United Provinces area, and we saw the French army continue to knock off units for the United Provinces. So they're really worn down, and they can barely defend themselves right now. Yeah, we have Denmark that is starting to make incursions against Sweden. So that's going to keep Sweden probably from acting against us. So kind of overview long term that I'm looking at is I'm thinking if we can get this under control over here sooner rather than later, help Saxony take out Hanover, and then after that, because they're so freaking weak, the United Provinces are a definite possibility for us to take out if we can get there fast enough before the French or anybody else or the Spanish get over there with enough of a force to take out Amsterdam. So that's the goal that we're working on short term right now. We're going to take another turn because I think I've dealt with everything I can so far. So we'll see you on the other side unless we have any fun surprises pop up. Okay, the Ottoman Empire has been quiet with us for quite a while. They would like to get some four-field crop. They would like to rotate their police. No, their cop rotation, the crop rotation. I don't really feel the need to do that trade right now. I don't need the funds as meager as they are. I definitely don't need military access. And just beyond United Provinces, I'm thinking of going to war Of course, this is really far out, so lots of things can happen to change my mind or change the plan based on who declares war. But I'm thinking of going to war with the Ottoman Empire to try and knock them out of the quote-unquote European part of their territories, take over Istanbul, and hold territories down to Greece that they currently hold. And that way I can then turn my attentions elsewhere without feeling quite as threatened from the Ottoman Empire. Thinking I should be able to keep some forces in Istanbul and hold there. So we're declining here. Okay, the workers have rioted. We've lost or had damage done to the college. And the workers of the region are now rioting for the introduction of the democratic reforms spoken about by the more learned classes of society. The progressive ideas of seditious academics have filtered down to the uneducated workforce. Surely they cannot understand the things of which they speak. So let's repair the college so we can continue with our research there. That's a little bit of a delay, but things are back under control. And a lot of things happened on this turn. Is the army of Hanover, they moved over here and damaged the mine instead of reinforcing their home territory. And in the meantime, the army of Saxony has conquered Hanover. Saxony now is 2 territories strong, so our protectorate is growing. And what that will allow us to do is start marching towards the United Provinces without having to worry about Hanover. So thank you, Saxony. Thank you very much. Let's see. I guess we're just going to start marching. Obviously, this army is just a remnant with what we have here. I guess what we could look at doing is recruiting a little bit to help start rebuilding this army and keep this one at full strength that way. We have cavalry. We have artillery. It's straight old line units to recruit. And we're going to do that. We're going to do a couple units of grenadiers and fill out with the line infantry. Boom. We're done. So we got everybody addressed as far as getting replenishment, with the army. In fact, there's a handful of units here that might need some replenishing, and it only costs 148, and it was just pikemen and a cavalry unit. So we're going to get this army on the march. In fact, we're going to march them all the way to almost Hanover here on our way towards the United Provinces. And then we're going to wait for the recruitment here in Berlin. It should happen next turn. And yeah, it won't be some massive size army, but it'll be enough to support this army. And based on what United Provinces is showing us here at the moment, it should be sufficient. And we can keep recruiting this weakest army even after they've marched off next turn. So let's take a look. We have some more to reinforce in Berlin itself. Cost 102, so it was hardly anything. And this army has a few more to reinforce. 440. So yeah, there wasn't much recruiting left to do over with these armies. So it's a matter of rebuilding. Let's just take a look at these remaining things that happened during the turn before we get going. We gained a trait, so we finished in some more research. Let's go see where that might be. Technology advances. Seasoning up to naval architecture, probably okay. Flying shuttle to spinning mule, probably okay. Let's just double check that real quick. Yeah, I'm happy with that being our next one. What that does for our Navy lowers the recruitment cost, and that's definitely a big one right now, since we totally got to recruit our Navy from practically ground zero. And then as far as here, yeah, that's the next logical choice here. We've got a couple demi-cannons over in Austria. Oh yeah, we were thinking we were going to have to build up an army from scratch here, which we still may look at doing if our economy will allow it, but the extra cannon can park there for the moment. We got some metalled roads going and upgrading, so that will all help our economy. And as we discussed, Hanover has been destroyed, and we've gained an ancillary. A clever general surrounds himself with young men of talent. We've gained an aide-de-camp. So there we go. So we've started the march toward the United Provinces. I'm not seeing a lot of issues over here, especially if France keeps helping us by attacking and weakening them as we march over in that direction. Next turn, once we get our recruitment done, we'll bolster this army and get them marching also to follow up our army here, and we'll get this thing going. So at the moment, we just got a few more dollars to spend, and we're going to go economy. Now, what kind of a port do we have here in Brandenburg? It's a trading port. That to me is one that needs to be upgraded, and it gets us up to 6th rates. Well, no, I actually, a 6th rate is not better than a 5th rate, so it doesn't really improve. It just improves our income. So we're going to spend the 2,500 there. In fact, we're going to spend our 2,500 down at our other port also. And that leaves us with a little more income. We're going to continue focusing on the farms so we can continue having strong growth in our areas. That's definitely a priority for us. And we'll leave it at 523 in the bank for future. And at this point, I think the episode's gone on long enough. I think what we're going to do is call it at this point and wait till next time to see if we can get over here, and we'll find out if we have the ability to knock them out that quick next turn, the United Provinces, and take over Amsterdam. At least that's what we're going to go for. So give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed today's battle. If you haven't subscribed yet and you're having fun watching the playthrough, hit that subscribe button. Otherwise, thanks so much for watching. This is ZigZagZog signing off from somewhere in this world. I really do hope to see you next time. Thanks so much.